Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome at this discussion on love. One of the most favorite topics these days. Every film, every book has at least partly this aspect of love. And tonight's discussion is on, does love equal desire or dependency? So tonight is more of an exploration on what truly is love. Because it is a word that we often use. And if we don't use it verbally, we think it or we think about it. So let's explore tonight a little bit more on this topic. And try to enlighten ourselves, but also we will bring in the more spiritual perspective on this topic, if that is okay. There are many seats on this side. Please feel welcome to sit here. I will use the board so it will be more easy to see. Especially those that are at the back. I promise I won't bite, especially not in a lecture on love. Let's. It's okay, feel comfortable, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Okay, we will just start a little bit with an inventory on what are our thoughts when we think of love. What is it that we think of? And maybe I start with giving the word to all of you. When you hear this word, what is it that you think of? So, I'm not sure if you can see this. You all can see this? So one thing is unconditional. Reference, what do you mean by that? Revered, respect. Romance. What does romance mean? Heart beating fast. That also happens if a dog looks at you very aggressive. To give. To give. Healing. Healing. Comfort. Feeling good. Affection. To care. Knowledge. What do you mean by that? If you truly love, you become wiser. Mm-hmm. Genuine. Surrender. Commitment. Soulful. What does that mean? Soulful comes from the soul, comes from the heart. To let go. Loyal. Very good. Loyalty, detachment. Others agree with that? Detachment or attachment? Unconditional kindness. Divine love. That is also the thought. Divine love. Okay. Any more thoughts? Hmm? Love for the self. Mm-hmm. Very good. Any other thoughts? Hmm? Peace. So for the self, peace. Any other thoughts? Comfort is already there. Yeah. Serving. Mm-hmm. Beauty. It is for the recording. That is because somehow it gets dark. I don't really need it, but this better? Yeah. Okay. Anything else that comes to mind that really should not be missed when we think or talk about love? Equality. Very good. Empathy. Equality, empathy. Acceptance. Very good. Hmm? Compassion. Long list, no? Hmm? Physical love. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Physical love. Anything else? So if all of this is love, if all of this is love, then why is it that there are so many frictions in relationships? It's complicated. And I'm not only meaning intimate partner relationships, but all kinds of relationships. Because friendship is also relationship. Parent-child is also love and relationship. Teacher-student is also a kind of love and relationship. Colleagues is also a kind of a relationship. So what is the reason why all of this is love? No, we are saying these are the thoughts and the feelings that come when we talk about love. So do we experience all of this? Sometimes, yes. But the first thing was it was unconditional. So why is it sometimes? Huh? It doesn't get experienced. Mm-hmm. It gets room. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We feel less of ourselves and we cannot fully love others. We experience it sometimes and then we feel a lack of it. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts? In this list, I did not see desires. And I did not see dependency. But do we get into that after a while? Let's explore one hypothetical situation that may be can be like an example. So this is Lydia. Lydia? No one here named Lydia, isn't it? This is Lydia. So Lydia just finished, she's coming to New York City to study. She's very excited. She will start her first year, and she is an art student. And so she is very artistic. And so sometimes she paints her hair blue. Sometimes she paints her hair yellow. So she's kind of artistic, and also with her physical expression, she's uses that also, her creative nature. And she's very happy and enthusiastic. And in the same university, there is, what's his name? He's come to, free, first time away from home, exploring New York City, enthusiastic. So Lydia one day paints her hair purple, and another day she paints it blue. John is completely not affected by that. No? He is maybe at the most kind of amused or curious, but it doesn't affect him emotionally. Kind of interesting. This is, and so another day she paints her hair, red. And he is stable as it can be. So this is 2014. 2016, they get to know each other a bit better. 2018, they're married. Now, one day she comes home and she paints her hair green. Will John be still stable? Less possibility. And so one day they have to go for a special dinner to his with his boss and some people from other engineers, and she has to accompany him. And so she paints her hair purple with yellow polka dots. Will he be fully stable? Most probably not. So why is that? What is the difference between 2014 and 2018? She hasn't changed. She is his wife now. She is his wife now. And so what does that mean? She is identity now. She has become part of his identity. And what does that mean? I'm just a hypothetical, example, but maybe a bit common. So what has happened in those 4 years? 2014, he was maybe kind of amused, kind of interesting, kind of curious. 4 years later, they are married. She still has her creative spirit. He has grown. He wants to control her. He's grown attached to what she does. Has changed from classmate to wife. So, expectations have come in. And what does this mean? He expects certain thing from her. But another way to say this, she is now in charge of how he feels. True? She is in charge of how he feels. She doesn't choose to be, she did not choose to be in charge necessarily. But by him expecting something from her, she is in charge of how he feels. What is another name for that? Dependency. Very good. Another name still? Jail. Someone else decides if you are happy or not. How do you call that? A bondage? Isn't it? Or jail? Now, is that love? It's not supposed to be. And they did not set out to get into this, but it just over time happened. Does this happen in New York City? Everywhere. Now, maybe this is where we need to reposition ourselves. And are relationships meant for this? When we had this first, sharing of what is love, I did not see bondage. I did not see dependency. I did not see expectations. And I don't doubt that they love. But something else gradually happens. And then we go off track. Isn't it true? This is what happens easily. We do this with people, but we also do this with ourselves, we do it with possessions, with positions. And we as if put ourselves in bondage by creating an expectation. And another word for expectation means I want or I need. And the of what we are saying is love, isn't it? Is giving, is caring, is sharing, is wisdom, is beauty. It is the opposite. So somewhere along the line we get into this trap. So what happens many times in relationships is if we position ourselves from a place of fullness, then we give. If we position ourselves from a place of emptiness, I don't know how you write that, emptiness, then we want, we need, we take. Definitely, yeah, definitely, yeah. But if we, in general, if we look around at this moment in time, where are relations coming from from here or from here. And so if we are coming from this space, then we end up ultimately in this and in this. Conditional. So if you give me my chocolates, I love you. If you don't give me my chocolates, I don't love you anymore. So that is not really love. That is negotiation, business. Set up for an upset. Yeah, 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 yeah. So is there a way to come out of this? Is there a way to not be in this? To not cross this line? Compromising more? Understand the different individual? Give space to each other? Be desireless. Yeah. Be desireless, be emotionally independent. Very good. Acceptance. But there is also another thing, and this is where we come to the more spiritual perspective. Whom are we truly loving? When we say, I love you, first of all, who is that I and who is that you? So there is this phenomena that they call in psychology displaced or misplaced attachment. And I don't know if you have heard of it, but one example that they give is of a dog. No? So dog loves his boss, and wherever the boss goes, dog goes behind. Dog goes to the bedroom, they go behind, go to the living room, walk behind, everywhere. They love the boss very much. But when the boss goes away, they love the shoe of the boss. Wherever they go, they take the shoe with them. And then if you touch the shoe, they get a bit annoyed. And when the boss gets back, then again they drop the shoe and then they're with the boss. You have seen this phenomena? Do human beings do this also? How? How? For most part they do. So how can you give an example how human beings do this? Money position, but also pictures. We have photos, isn't it? And then we love the photo. The person is not there, we love the photo. So somebody put the photo away, they get annoyed. Why you put my grandmother away? Just put the photo. Huh? Mm. Mm. Yeah. 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 Someone was telling me that they sprinkle the aftershave of the partner on the cushion, so then they feel there. Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of, we attribute certain characteristics to an object or a thing. And then we love that because the person is not there. This is a phenomenon that is called misplaced attachment. So you're projecting your love onto something that is not the person, in memory of the person. Now, spirituality says we generally do something similar also from a more spiritual perspective, seen from a more spiritual perspective. The spiritual model is that all of us are non-physical beings, beings of consciousness. Other word for that is soul. We are spiritual beings, and we symbolize those beings as light, beings of consciousness. We are experiencers, or observers, you could say. Beings that are bodiless, beings that are divine in nature, beings that are immortal, beings that are secure. And these beings eternally belong together. We are like a family of souls, a family of spiritual beings who are innately loving, innately peaceful. There is innate respect, there is innate joy. And we exist as a family, we exist in a home of peace and silence and light. And these come to, if this is the physical world, the world of matter, the world of sound, the world of objects. And in the physical world, we associate with, what is that? With the body. So the body for the soul. But the soul is not living. And through the mother, teacher, neighbor, colleague, those are different roles that we play out in what we call the drama of life. The play. But there is an entrance for exit for the soul. So we as if come and we journey. And all of us, we journey. Sorry, we journey together. Now, that love that we were talking about in the beginning, most of that actually originally comes from this, applies soul to soul. That deeper soul connection that is timeless, that is and the game that we play. It transcends the limitations of this. So define love in that way. But then we go and look for it here. It is as if we start loving the shoe. And is that a problem? Why? Exactly, this is not permanent. This can change anytime, it can damage anytime, it can finish anytime, it can stop anytime. It is a temporary state. So anything that is temporary cannot give that sense of secure, respected, unconditional love. True. And not only that we say, okay, I am a physical bodily being and I love this bodily being. Not only that, we start to expect. In a changing world, we start to create expectations and neediness. So what the spiritual model says, first we need to restore this true self-image or this true sense of self, that I am an eternal being of consciousness, the experiencer, the player, the observer, a being that is innately pure and clean and secure, immortal. And wake up to that higher nature and that higher reality. And then we will naturally experience a sense of connectedness, a sense of brotherhood, a sense of family, a sense of love. And we all come here to play the game. But what we do is we forget this and then we start to say, I am this and this is mine and this is mine and this is mine and want. Do what I expect. Do what I do. And then attachments and expectations. And what happens? Is there a problem with attachments and expectations? What is the problem? Disagreement, pain. Yeah, ultimately pain. Yeah. Because if I expect and you fulfill, I'm okay. But it doesn't stop there. Tomorrow again I expect. And the day after again I expect, and I may be expecting more. True or not? And one day the other will say, wait a minute, you got enough chocolate now. Where are my chocolates now? So then both are expecting. Is there another word for this? Disappointment, yes. Selfish greed. Yeah, selfish greed. Neediness, taking, and yeah, both sides. Yeah. And this is not because we are bad, but it is because we are lost. Because we are not knowledgeful. We don't see the bigger picture anymore. We don't see the future consequences anymore. And then more we need, more we expect, more we get disillusioned, more we need. More we get disillusioned, more we need. More we get disillusioned, we get pain, and we end up giving pain, ultimately. But again, not because we are bad, and not because we set out like this. It started with love, but it ends up in pain. Another way Another word that we sometimes use for this condition that we find ourselves in is in a beggar mode. Please give me, please love me, please say I am good, please, 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 please. So I'm trying to fill myself with you. But the other one also trying to. So who likes to be with a beggar? And two beggars together? So I have to take turns. And this is what happens in dependencies, in expectations, in desires. Is just another word for the same condition. And then we end up hurt and disillusioned. You want to say anything? Any special comments or questions? No. Very good. Yeah. 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 Very good. Because we can get into this spiral, no? Of first we appreciate, we like, then we love, and then we expect, and then we want, and then we need, and then we demand, and then if we still don't get, we just take. And if you still don't get, you and complain. It's like this downward spiral. And bomber's pit. Oh, bottomless pit. Bottomless pit. So, what the Raj Yoga model suggests is first we see clearly the bigger perspective. No? See ourselves truly, not as body or the bodily role, but see ourselves first as a soul and experience the self as this eternal spiritual being of consciousness that is invisible, but that being gives life to this body. That being thinks and experiences. That being that is timeless. That being uses this as a vehicle for a temporary period of time. Is that true? Anyone will be here forever? No. So this is temporary. So the real person is actually the soul. So to know self and to position the self in this soul identity and then play the role. Then whom should we love? This? Soul to soul. The eternal being. And that eternal being, when it is aware, the real self, awake, is naturally loving, naturally secure. Because when we are insecure, can we truly love? We can, if the other makes me feel secure. Yeah. But when the other doesn't make me feel secure, then that love goes. Yeah. But still, we have created a culture and a society that chases after this, isn't it? And we chase after this limited idea of love. And someone gave this example of a boy. He catches hold of a buffalo tail. Buffalo goes over stony, rocky roads. The buffalo goes in muddy water. And the buffalo goes in again in muddy water. And this boy says, "Oh, help, help. I did not deserve this. Why this buffalo so nasty to me?" What does he have to do? Let go of the buffalo tail. Maybe something similar. Someone said, no, love is to let go. So maybe actually desiring and neediness and wanting and expecting and demanding is actually opposite of loving. And this is someone was saying, I think someone was saying, first love self. Yeah, you were saying. But even in that first love self, we also have to be clear who is that true self. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If we truly wake up to the real self, the inner being, the higher being, the soul, the experiencer, that is a timeless being. That is a being that is God-like in nature. So if we truly know self and live in that awareness, is it possible to not love? No. And if we can see ourselves as these pure, God-like, spiritual beings, then it becomes easy to also see everyone else as that, isn't it? And then love is not a neediness. It is natural. All are my brothers. Wah me, wah everyone else. Anyone want to say? No. The role is role. No? Someone playing a part in a drama. So some show on Broadway, someone playing Cinderella, someone else playing the role of ugly stepsister, and the other one plays the role of stepmother. That's fine, but the actors behind are the souls, are the original, eternal, immortal beings of light. Yeah. Two things. So the question in How do you come back to that true self again? First of all, it starts with the realization that all of this, including this body, so Rona and the body, it is all temporary. And this whole physical world is temporary. Just to realize that. So, for example, this chair, it is nice. These flowers, they are nice. I can appreciate. I can like, I can use. But I know it will not be there forever. And this not only forever. The next week it will already be. So, to get dependent on my joy, to be because of it, it is not wise. So this whole physical world is extra. So these flowers, this chair, this body even is extra. And I still respect it. I still appreciate it. I treat it properly. I don't go and jump on the chair, break the flowers. But I know they are not the basis of my inner well-being. I'm just here for a temporary period. And so the realization that I hold in the mind. Everything we perceive through the sense organs is extra. And if it is extra, what does it mean? Bonus? Very good. So everything is extra, everything is yeah, exactly. Body is bonus, flowers are bonus, this is bonus, the whole New York City is bonus, the subway is bonus, is extra. People talking to you is extra. You don't need it, it is extra. So it becomes a gift. Very good. So to practice this in your mind. And the other thing is, to in the mind, regularly reflect and come back to the awareness of being this invisible experiencer, a being of light. And we are visiting this world. And we all are. So to see others like that also. As soul brothers. We come from a different dimension. We belong together. Forever we are traveling together. We belong to that home of silence and light. And just in your mind, practice that. Hold that image. See the perspective. In every situation, see the perspective of an subtle, invisible visitor. Just play with that. So when you're in the subway, just remind, oh, I'm visiting this place. Who enjoys New York City the most? The visitors. Isn't it? So if we hold that attitude of the soul is a visitor, even in this body, every day is a gift. Every moment is extra. Oh, also extra. Also extra, yeah. 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 It's extra. Yeah. Now people go what for? For entertainment, they go to action movies. Entertainment. No, to go forward, but if it is there, it is part of this drama. if we can internally approach everything with that feeling of extra, the inner being is a timeless, eternal, godlike, immortal being. And this is extra. And if we can see each other like that, will love not be natural? Does it really matter? But does it really matter? Because I'm not expecting anymore. I'm not expecting anymore. No, there are two things. You may want it because you would want them to also feel the highest. So you offer if they are interested, if they are open to it. Yeah. But the best message is you being it. You experiencing it. That will make others think, why are you always so kind? Place means what? No, I think it is like either you're awake or you are asleep. And of course, while sleeping, there can be nightmares. So some situations are worse than other, but it is still asleep. These talks are being recorded, and they're on Facebook of the center. So if you go on Facebook of the center, you can see the talks. Or you have to talk with someone who knows. Yeah. Afterwards, just ask. Any other comments or questions on this interesting topic of love?
It is, like you said, Brahma Kumaris, love itself is a God.
Mm.
And right now, whatever we heard, the effect may last just for a few minutes by the time we get out. So you have connected us to a very higher level of consciousness, soul. And we are all souls. And we get the embodiment of the body. We look different like an animal, plant, and human being. Most of the time we work on physical level, then comes to emotional level, and then comes to mental level. And the fourth is the spiritual level, which we elaborate today. But we don't think of it. That comes last. So mostly we work on our physical, mental level. So the love gets very much degraded. And we get lost ourselves. So love means God. I remember one question, I don't get too long. In 1994, in Miss Universe or Miss World, on a finalist of 5, there was a question asked by the jury, Miss World, Miss Universe. So what a woman teaches men. One lady from India, who became a now Bollywood actress, Aishwarya Rai, she said to the jury, the woman teaches men all about love. Now that's a different side of what she's talking.
I don't know about her, but yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is a journey for all of us, not to reflect on this more and to at least you were asking how to hold and be connected with this. One easy way is to hold in your mind a broader perspective. And in every situation, every moment, ask myself, am I in this soul perspective, this invisible experiencer perspective? Or am I in a limited perspective, ego-based perspective, not only seeing the world of matter and everything that is temporary and limited? Yeah, and it's true. There is, am I loving in that box, or is my love coming from that higher positioning? And the concept of God, or the supreme soul, the supreme being, is that is one who holds that higher perspective always. And because of that supreme being is able to be like an ocean of love unconditionally. But if every one of us, individual souls, are able to hold that broader perspective, we are able to experience that same kind of ocean of love. For as long as we are able to hold that broader perspective. And so one way to play with this also is to all the time, as if remind the self, here is this invisible, subtle, spiritual being that is timeless. And this is just a role, this is a temporary body, which is extra, which is a gift, but it is extra. The real self is this soul, and everyone else is also that pure being of light. Yeah, yeah. Love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is not what is. We don't grow. So we have to, as if, rewire ourselves. And this is why it is good to come together, have these kinds of discussions, have these kinds of interactions with those who are interested, with those who have similar interests, and explore this and make it firm. Because like the gentleman said, the moment you go out, it is easy to drop it again. No? So we have to as if remind ourselves again. Yeah. And practice, not only when you are here, listen to it, but also when you are out there, just remind yourself, okay, this is the body walking, but there is this beautiful being. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Be aware of this inner being that is subtle, that is innocent and clean, the real self. And this real self plays a role, fine, but that is extra. Of course, if Lydia and John stay in that mode of expectations, it will just become worse and worse and worse. And then either you put up with that or you don't. That is usually what happens. But we are not condemned to living a life of expectations. No, that we can wake up also, we can shift around certain things. Yeah, and of course, things can be discussed, and you can start seeing his point of view. She can start seeing, without it becoming like you do what I want because that is what I need. So it is not like a rigid thing, but there has to be some goodwill on both sides also. And of course, if both are learning to meditate and getting into the understanding of his soul, it definitely helps. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then you start. Then your priorities also shift, and what becomes truly important also shifts around. Mm. But definitely it is possible. Even if not both of them, it still is better, no? If two are beggars, it's better that one is not. Still. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else want to comment? Mita? Very good. Excellent. Yeah. 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 Very good. Yeah. How much time in the day do I spend for the soul to nurture the inner being? Or how much time do I spend for everything else, or the body in this case? Yeah. And it doesn't need that, it mean to say that we neglect the body or the bodily world, but where is our priority also, no? And if the inner being is restored, if we as if approach the physical world in the right awareness, with the right perspective, then we approach the physical world with fullness. And then we come to give and to share instead of to take. Yeah. 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 Focused. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. 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 Very good. Yeah. See from a broader perspective, no? Because what really goes with us, even from one day to the next, what goes with us is what we experience inside, no? So if you have good experiences, if you even something simple, someone who gets angry or someone who stays content, who has a better day? Yes, who will be getting up the next day in a better mood? Bigger chance. It is in our own benefit. Okay, well, shall we close with a minute of silent. And so just for a few moments, we consciously remind ourselves that we have the choice. We have the option to approach this world with a broader perspective, knowing the self as a beautiful, subtle being that looks like a star. The center of the forehead, just behind the eyes. Spiritual, pure, timeless being. That belongs to a spiritual dimension and a family of souls. A being that is eternally secure and needs nothing to exist. And this being comes into the physical world and gets a body as a gift to use for a while. There are many others in bodies. All the different scenes of life are gifts. In that awareness, we can naturally give, appreciate, and love. The self, others, and even the drama of life. But no need to get attached, no need to expect anything. The real self is timeless and needs nothing to exist and to be soul. A being of peace. A being of love. And so as we go through the rest of the evening and continue our journey, we aim to stay with this awareness that we always have this choice, this option to use this spiritual perspective, this broader perspective. Thank you. I'm seeing a few new faces today.